Deku will kill All Might. Today I'm going to jump into the end of All Might, and some of the possible ways he is going to possibly, maybe, probably die. Full disclosure, there are no manga spoilers here. I have just concocted these ideas from watching the anime. Roll the intro! Welcome back, people of the internet. I'm Archer, and this is Nerdview. But which one of these background animations is less crappy? Let me know in the comments section down below. So, I've said it already. Deku will kill All Might. Now, that might be a little bit clickbait. What I really mean is that he'll probably be the cause of his death. Last season we saw All Might and All For One go at it hard. That doesn't sound right. I mean, they had a tough battle. It was... this is awkward. Anyway, All Might came out on top, albeit with sacrifices. Now, this was a somewhat satisfying battle, and I suppose you could consider that the conclusion to him as a superhero in his character. However, he's still here, so why is he still in the show? Obviously, he's pursuing some sort of mentor role towards the upcoming heroes, but to the audience, that doesn't feel really satisfying. Like, you're being teased that he's around, but you never get to see him in action anymore. So now you just don't feel satiated because he's still available for action. But no, wait, I don't mean it that way. No, not that type of... God damn it. Anyway, what makes this worse is the introduction of Aries' quirk and the ability to rewind, reverse, resolve All Might's injuries and potentially restore him to a state of awesomeness. Which leads me to think the reason he's still alive and didn't die in his battle with All For One is because Aries is going to restore his quirk at some point so he can have one final battle. Which begs the question, what is the end of All Might? How is he going to go down? So there is a few really cliche ways that All Might could go down here. He could go down fighting the enemy and saving everyone. And that would be really typical of a positively oriented shonen-style manga. With this being the most probable way that All Might dies, we should take a look at not how he dies, but who kills him. Because in order for his death to feel impactful in this sort of cliché ending, the person who takes him down needs to be relevant to the story and already an established character. And not just one who's in the show, but one who has history with All Might and Deku. So the obvious answer is All For One. He has history with both characters, but we've seen them both fight in the past, and we've seen the result. So it would feel somewhat repetitive and not like they're creating new stories and any character development. So that brings us on to his offspring, so to speak, Tomura. And considering he's the head of the League of Villains, this would make a lot of sense. But I don't really find his character that interesting in relation to All Might. And the bad guy killing one of the protagonists is kind of obvious. So I think it would be a lot more fun if one of the main characters on the good side actually killed All Might, which sounds kind of crazy. Perhaps during battle, Deku becomes extremely emotionally exposed, and he reacts badly to that, and he loses control, and as a consequence of that, there are people left and right being hurt by his actions during fights. Maybe All Might's around, and he gets caught by shrapnel, or just some massive explosion, and Deku has to react to having killed his mentor and a father-like figure to him. Now, whilst this is a really bitter ending for All Might, it would serve as great character development for Deku. Now he has to deal with an actual death on his hands. Maybe he feels like he's murdered him. And this guilt drives Deku to being a much more dark character. At the moment, every time we see him in a fight, whilst his intent is to defeat the opponent and potentially save someone, it's not really murderous. And it'd be really exciting if we got to see him in that state. For example, if he'd accidentally killed All Might, he would go into some sort of rage. And then we'd see whoever he's currently in a battle against being subject to against a murderous Deku, which would be way more interesting and entertaining for the audience. The good guy and the main character always being good is too cliche and boring. It's predictable. You always know what's going to happen. You know they're going to come out on top. But if you throw this in there, there's suddenly a wrench in the works. What if Deku not only accidentally kills All Might, but kills a villain? Now he has to reconcile who he is as a character and discover his morality again. The purpose of All Might's death in the show, for one, is to conclude his character arc. But seeing as though he's not really a main character, I don't think that's as important as it is to really establish more character development for Deku and how he handles that loss. Whilst we've already seen Deku react to a death in the fact of Sir Night-Eye, they weren't particularly close and had only just met. So I don't think his reaction there fully shows what would happen if someone close to him was to die and how he would respond to it. And this brings me round to my final idea. It's a little dark, but what if Eri didn't just rewind All Might's quirk, but she was actually the cause of his death? But why would Eri be rewinding All Might's quirk now he's settled into retirement? I think it'd be an exciting prospect if All Might was required and Deku made the decision to use Eri regardless of the risk to rewind All Might's quirk in the middle of a battle, and it goes terribly, terribly wrong. Now Deku has to live with the consequence of his actions and realize that every decision he makes impacts not only him but others as well, and that everything might not always go his way. And beyond that, his duty currently is looking after and saving and protecting Eri. Now, how's he going to feel about doing that if she's quite literally murdered his mentor and father-like figure right in front of him? So this video is just me kind of throwing my thoughts out there. It wasn't really scripted or particularly well researched. I thought I'd go for something more raw. So let me know what you think of these kind of open dialogue videos in the comments section. That's it for today. I've been Archer. If you haven't already, subscribe to NerdView and turn on post notifications, and let me know which one of those two animated backgrounds is better.